University. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about this very thing about absolutes. I just don't think there are that many. Only absolutes I can really think about would be like when you squat, clean, or snatch, you need to keep your spine extended. And in a perfect world, you probably try to not have knee valgus, at least under the sub maximal loads. You should.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
than that, like I don't know.
I mean, some ideas are better than others, and it's okay to say
Yeah.
that.
Are they? Like maybe it depends on the person. I think what you said is right. Is like depends on who's teaching. Like if someone, okay, for example, I have Hannah who's amazing, who's like all of a sudden blowing up. Like if you taught her the Bergner warm up, it would mess her up because she already spends way too much time at the top.
Yeah.
So you probably want to avoid that for a minute until she understands the rhythm and the timing.
Yeah.
Then you could probably give it to her and be no problem. So that would be the thing.
Right.
Is that like it's like the individual. It's like,
Well, yeah. And where did the Bergner warm up most likely come from? Well, he was a PE teacher teaching
Yeah.
50 kids with a broomstick how to
Yes.
do a snatch.
it
How
probably
are
would-
you going to get 50 people to move in the same direction without creating like a little
chaos.
dance with it?
Right.
And get across 90+% of the points and the
Yeah.
positions
I'm with you.
and get people's elbows high and outside. How are you going to get them there? It's
I'm,
genius.
I'm with you.
But yeah, if you walked up to Morgan or anyone that's an
I think
elite
Morgan
weightlifter,
and Ryan would be perfect for it because they are already very good at timing and their speed underneath the bar is excellent. So you start teaching them, all it might do is like get them ready to pull under and activate those muscles they're going to use. You're not going to mess up their speed
Yeah.
under the bar.
I mean,
It's awesome.
the other thing I think that's so genius about stuff like that is like you may be able to argue like right or wrong with him on it, but when you can simplify complex things to something like the Bergner warm-up that you can do in 30 seconds
Yeah.
and get across
Then do it.
if somebody walked in this room right now that had no idea what weightlifting was and you handed them a PVC pipe, you could get them to do
Yeah,
80% of the movement relatively well in under 5 minutes.
I agree.
You have stripped away all the complexity.
Yeah.
You've gotten rid of all the weights that are scary to people. There's no barbells, so they're not even associating it with working out. It's genius.
I agree.
It's like just the fact that like I think the smartest people in the world strip away all the crap. It's like
Yeah.
we have this great idea and then let's simplify this thing down.
Yeah.
And then let's simplify that idea. And then let's simplify that idea.
with you.
And what it turns into is like dip drive, elbows high and outside. Okay.
with you.
Well, what is that position? That's just like an archetype, something we're looking for so that
Yeah.
you can get your elbows around or you can push up on the bar.
I'm with you.
And it's really simple. Like though it's not for everybody. But it's probably for about 90+% of the people.
I would say it's for the majority. I think it's a great way to teach. I think my mentor, Don McCauley, God rest his soul, he just passed away, but like he did not like that. He loved Bergner and respected him like beyond. There's a picture of all of us together, but he did not like the scarecrow and he would make fun of it and say it was terrible.
Yeah.
But like his way of explaining it, like you got to stop what you're doing and listen to understand it because it's more complex.
Yeah.
So it's really good for people who want to be really good at the sport. But if you're teaching masses or like CrossFit, it'd be impossible
Yeah.
to implement in a class setting with a bunch of people who may or may not love the sport.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was told that from day one about Bergner. Like my weightlifting coach back when I was in high school, and still a good friend of mine to this day, awesome coach, but he learned weightlifting from Bergner. He was a powerlifter that learned weightlifting from Bergner, so I was lucky to have the two perspectives.
It's awesome.
From day one. But that was one thing that he said about Coach Bergner from even as far back as me being 14 years old,
Yeah.
entering high school, was that one of the things that he liked about him was that my coach was mostly coaching high school kids. Most high school kids don't know how to do any weightlifting at all when they're entering as a freshman in high school. He has a large group of football players or whoever he's trying to teach, mostly cleans, but some snatches as well too, squatting and whatnot. And he always said that Coach Bergner, like one of the things he did best was coaching large groups of people to do the lifts pretty damn well in a big group setting.
In a simplistic way.
Yeah, like it's like the military. It's like super organized, like big group of people, like barking orders at the troops, and the troops are just following directions. And he took that from Bergner and applied it to coaching his own high school, large groups of high school kids. And Mark is phenomenally good at doing just that now, years later.
Yeah.
There's a few schools that have done really well. There's in Beaufort, Georgia. There's a coach, Stanley Trail, who is amazing. Like so their whole school does snatch, clean and jerk. They basically do weightlifting as their strength and conditioning, and they're also one of the best programs in the country. It's like unbeatable, and because the big thing about not doing it is like, oh, it's too hard to teach. But it's all about the system. They start in 7th grade, so every 7th and 8th grader do overhead squats and front squats, which makes it super easy to then 9th grade year teach them how to do a power snatch. Power snatch they already have the movement. They're already stable overhead, so it's easy. They already have the mobility, the movement. So it's
super cool that you're able to teach kids that now.